Thomas Gonnet has done what I've been trying to do for fucking years in a couple of months. He's a fucking demon, and I'm going to make a video on him because I actually really like him. Now, some people are going to comment, they're going to sit behind their keyboards and say, "You're riding his dick." Like, oh, stop. No, I don't care, man. I don't really care because he's very intelligent. He's very smart, and he's done something that, in my opinion, is extremely impressive with his YouTube channel. And I'm going to walk through why I think Thomas has been so successful. Now, there's definitely shit that I'm missing because I'm not Thomas and I don't have his brain, unfortunately, for YouTube. I wish I had that. But I wanted to sort of decode this just sudden meteoric rise, basically, so I can understand, like, and explore using my brain what I think he's done well. And maybe so I can help you guys understand as well. So my name's Charlie. I'm not as popular as Thomas. Unfortunately, I'll cry myself to sleep tonight. But my name's Charlie Morgan. I actually have been on Thomas's channel once or twice before, and we are doing some more collabs in the future. Thomas actually was subscribed to me before he started his channel, so we've got this awesome... I love him to bits. He's just an absolute legend, mate. And once again, I'm going to keep singing his praises, and I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to keep doing it. So my name's Charlie, right? Built and scaled a couple businesses. I currently make 500 grand a month with a coaching business. I built an agency to 7 figures, blah, 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 blah. You probably don't care. In this video, we're going to talk about Thomas. So first of all, what has he done so well? Like, because dude, I don't know how many videos I've published. I think I've made like a couple of hundred at least. And I've just clipped 20k subs, right? Which is pretty good growth for YouTube. But Thomas got more fucking subs than me in like 3 videos. And I was like, at the beginning, I won't lie to you, it pissed me off. I was like, for fuck's sake, what is going on? This is so unfair. And then I caught that and I was like, Charlie, stop being such an absolute idiot. He's obviously doing something better than you. And then I started to think like, oh shit, yeah, he is. He's better than me at YouTube. And I'll happily admit that, right? I think a lot of SMMA YouTubers, they got quite salty at it, which I did at the beginning. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? How has he done what I've been trying to do in like 4 or 5 videos and I've been doing it for like years. So that aside, let's talk about it. So first of all, he's a very handsome devil. He's got that Sigma face, but that's probably not why he's successful. But I wanted to talk about this because he is relatable to the agency owners who watch him. And there's also something I'm going to explain here. But first of all, so he's got the handsome face, but that's probably not why he's successful. But you know, besides the point. One thing is his deadpan humor. His humor is very interesting. It's like when you watch his videos, you're naturally sort of drawn, like it's a very strange retention strategy. But he's got this ability to like sew jokes into serious topics and points without sounding like he's joking. And it's very riveting, it's very compelling. And when you watch his videos, you're sort of on the edge of your seat thinking like, oh, he's talking about this person. Is he going to say this? So I find that extremely interesting. And one of the things that I was lacking with my YouTube videos before was personality. And I won't lie to you guys, like for, 18 months I was making YouTube videos and I thought I had to be this sort of Sam Ovens-esque, like, still face talking like this, but I realized that Sam was being himself and Thomas is being himself. And that's why I think he's had so much success with YouTube, is because when someone starts a YouTube channel, in order for them to become successful, in my opinion, they need to be themselves, right? And I'm not one to advocate for being yourself. Anyone who's been through my program and mindset training will know all about that. But Thomas comes across as I understand him, himself. When I talk to him personally and watch his YouTube videos, there's no difference. He's not wearing a mask. He's not putting on a facade. He has this sort of just deadpan, like, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And because he's authentic, people can sense that empathetically and they realize. So I think that's a good thing. Now, here is what I think is one of the big things. His understanding of the market, his understanding of the niche. Obviously, he's doing SMMA videos and agency-based videos better than anyone else. Like, I made a cold calling video, it got like 1,000 views. He made one, it got 300,000 views. So his understanding of the market is ridiculous, right? As I was saying about the cold calling stuff, I understand the market really well, but Thomas is able to articulate it, and he will tell you stuff you didn't know about yourself to yourself without you even realizing. So he made this video, I can't remember which one, but it was posted in the last month or two. And in the introduction, he talks for like 3 minutes. And it was about like, you've probably been watching like the top 5 habits, and I can tell you the top 5 habits now. And it's a really interesting retention strategy, because what he does in a lot of his videos is he will tell you things about yourself you already know, and it makes you feel so understood and connected to him. It's fucking brilliant. So he kind of knows what's going on in your mind, and he will make videos about that, and I find it quite impressive. The other thing is he's in the trenches. He's much more relatable. He's still building his agency, and a lot of people have criticized him for this, which I completely disagree with, where they've been like, oh, like, he hasn't built a successful agency and he's going to teach you how to run one. What a joke. Someone who's building their own thing is just as qualified to teach you as someone who's built one. Now, the person who's built, they might be right more often, but the person who's building it, they know exactly what's going on. And it's, for me, for example, I've built my agency and I don't run it anymore. And The problem that I have is like, whilst I understand the dynamics of building a successful agency and I'm surrounded by loads of agency owners who are building, because I'm not directly in the trenches, it is naturally more difficult for me to understand someone that is in exactly the same situation because I've got that slight disconnect, right? So I think that's the thing with Thomas is like, whilst he is an authority in this space, he's also a peer to you. So if you watch my videos, for example, now this might sound really egotistical and it might sound really grandiose, but when you look at Thomas, you see him as authority, but you also see peer. He's on your level, right? And what I mean by that is, yeah, he's making more money with you, with affiliates, maybe with his agency. But because of his situation, it feels like you can relate more to him. Whereas if you watch my videos, for example, or Joel Kaplan, for example, who I fucking love to bits as well, by the way. I could make a whole video on Joel and how good he is. But like me and Joel, for example, like we sit on this perch where it's like we're not quite peers to you guys. So if you're making like $5,000 a month and you're learning how to build an agency and you're learning from me or Joel, for example, I don't want to sound like I'm an egotistical maniac, but you are in some way, shape or form, you see us as an authority. You wouldn't look at us on your level necessarily. Now, financially, right? And all the other parameters, Joel and I are probably similar to you in terms of the fact that we eat the same food, etc., etc. But my point is that like Thomas has this uncanny ability to make himself seem like, he doesn't even try because he is like, he's a peer, but also an authority. And it's a dichotomy that is extremely hard to balance and one that is very impressive, right? So hats off to you, Thomas, if you're watching this. He's in the trenches, right? So it's kind of like if you've got a general and a soldier. If you want all of the soldiers to march to your beat, if you're in the trenches with them, you get their respect. Now, the other thing is like, Thomas is very fucking transparent. Like off the rip, he said he's kept his promises to his audience. He was like, I'm not going to sell a 997 course. Now, he created a course, and to get it, you have to go through his high level. But that's a completely different model to the 997 like pump and dump model. So he actually stuck to his word, which is it's just rare to find. Another example of this is Joel Kaplan. Like Joel's got lots of integrity with his business model, and he's got a great product. And like I respect him as not only a competitor, but also like as someone who does what he says he's going to do. He adds value and he keeps his promises. Whereas a lot of other SMA YouTubers, and I'm not going to get into names and shit on anyone, a lot of people, they say they're not going to do something, then they do it, and it can become pretty problematic. I've even done that in the past before, where stupidly at the start of a video I'm like, I've got nothing to sell you, and then at the end I say there's a link in the description. So I'm guilty of this myself. We're not perfect, right? But that's a good point. Now here's the other thing about Thomas, right? He's not afraid to reveal things. So like his best videos are live sales calls or live cold calling. By the way, with that cold calling script, he got that from my video. So you can imagine how sour I was when I found out that the cold calling script that I was teaching on my channel, which got like 1,000 views, Thomas did and got 350k views. I'm over it now, but at the time I was like, fuck, that is so frustrating. But besides the point, Thomas did it in a much better way than me. And that's why I did so much better. I'm fully responsible for my lack of success with that video. But he's not afraid to reveal things. And he's not afraid to actually pull the curtain back. And this is something that I'm correcting myself and also observing Joel Kaplan as well, which I think Joel, we came to the realization at the same time here. It is just about showing people how stuff works. And it's not about having this shroud of mystery and being afraid to give things away. And so I'm trying to move my content more towards creating PDFs and actually revealing and showing you guys the inner workings of how things work without having this fear that everyone's going to copy it. So that's something that Thomas did, very intelligent. The other thing about this is the exposed videos. Now, this is one of the only things that I would say I disagree with Thomas on. The whole exposing people thing and making videos about people is a great way to get views. And Thomas did it incredibly well. He did it in a way that was funny, that was intelligent, and that people could understand. And more importantly, the people that he went after, he actually had merit behind the expose videos, if that makes sense. People tried to clap back at him. There was no substance to those videos, which means they didn't do very well. So here's the thing about expose videos, is if they do well, then typically there's some level of truth to the content of those videos. Now, I would never make an expose video on someone, just because it's not in my style. For me personally, it doesn't feel right to get a leg up by pushing someone else down. However, it's a very viable strategy, and Thomas is clearly just more cold than I am, which is absolutely fine, and I really admire it. But it's not something I would do. But one of the reasons he has been so successful, because he hasn't been afraid to call people out and just say, look, this is fucking bullshit. And a lot of the time as well, like some of the people he called out, not going to name names. If you know who they are, you know who they are. A lot of those videos, people watch them. You see the comments of someone being like, well, this guy fucked me over too, and then this guy fucked me over. And so Thomas is like a white blood cell in the body. He's going around and he's cleaning up the market, and he's sort of like looking like, okay, well that looks a little bit like that cell over there looks a bit cancerous, or that cell over there is like, that's a virus. And he's going around and he's just like picking off the bad eggs, essentially, which I quite admire, because the market needs it. And I think that the reason those videos have done so well is because there was this latent need for someone to actually come ahead and say things like that. So that's that. Now, the other thing that I think he's done really well is making unconventional videos. And this is something that I'm trying to learn from him. I don't know how the fuck he does it, but he'll upload like one video every 10 days, then he'll go like 3 weeks without posting, and then he'll do like 3 videos. The dude has had the most exponential YouTube growth that I've seen in this space. And he's gone from like 0 to like 60K subs in like 6 months. It's harder than any videos. For me, my paradigm is like consistency. But Thomas has this ability to make videos that are so different, but people fucking want to watch them. So like, you know, I could be here grinding out my heels on like how to get appointments, how to do sales calls. And then Thomas comes out with a video called 2 Agencies I Would Start in 2023. No fucking capital letters in the title. The thumbnail is just him with an arrow and it gets fucking 100,000 views. It's brilliant. And that the ability to make these unconventional videos that truly are unique, I think is one of the main reasons he's had so much success with YouTube. Some of Thomas's content, you watch it and you think no one's ever talked about that before. Like that's a new one, that's a different video. And I admire that ability. And it's, you know, Thomas, I talked to him before and he said he's had some experience with YouTube before, running YouTube channels. And that's where that sort of idea came from. But the ability that he has to make videos that people want to watch that nobody else has made before, it's very useful for his growth. Now, this is the final point I'm going to talk about here. And there's other things that I would mention, but I think this is a big one. His channel has incredible initial conditions. So initial conditions is a idea in systems thinking, right? Where basically like this, the long-term success or the long-term trajectory or direction of an entity or a system or a YouTube channel, like it depends so heavily on what happens in its conception. And so what that means is like the first couple of YouTube videos you make, if they do really well, then that will tell YouTube's algorithm the initial conditions of your channel are good. The first couple of videos you make completely flop and die and get no views, then that sets the initial conditions for being relatively weak. But Thomas did a really, really smart thing where his first couple of videos were videos people really wanted to watch. Like, you know, there was one on Iman Gaji's Navigator course, which I think has like hundreds of thousands of views. And like the first like 2 or 3 videos he made, they just fucking banged. And what that meant is like his relationship with YouTube's algorithm from the get-go was extremely positive. And what that meant is that all future videos, provided they had good viewer retention and good click-through rates, would do just as well as the previous ones. When you look at systems thinking, the best way to look at this is like imagine a ship sailing from one island to another. If it is 0.5 degrees off course at the beginning, like if it's tiny little degree off, over 1,000 miles, the ship will end up hundreds of miles off course just because of like a 0.5% or a 0.5 degree difference in angle. So that's the initial conditions thing. It's like Thomas had the first few videos, they did incredibly well. I don't think it was luck because I think there's an element of luck to it, but I think that if anyone had made Thomas's videos the way he'd made them, then they would have done well. And the problem we have now is lots of people cropping up making YouTube channels on SMMA, which I think is wonderful because it grows the space and it helps everyone and it adds value. But a lot of people are going into YouTube expecting Thomas's growth and they're making similar videos and they're not seeing it. And it's because Thomas has this ability. So I think that in summary, it's easy to look at someone like Thomas and think he's this wonder child. It's kind of like, you know when people look at like professional athletes and they think, you know what, he's just born with it. But I see straight past that shit. I see straight through it. And I think Thomas is actually just really fucking intelligent. And I don't think there's much luck involved in his success. I think it's all cause and effect. And it's all due to some specific things that he's been doing have been conducive to a YouTube channel growth. I don't think it's luck. I think there maybe is an element towards it where it is luck, but I think that's negligible in comparison, in contrast to the genius he has in his ability to make really good videos. He's also a really good guy, by the way. I'm quite good friends with him. And he's one of those, like, it's what I said at the start where like how he is on his videos is how he is when you're talking to him, which is refreshing. It's like, and that's a similar thing with Joel Kaplan as well. I really love Joel. We did a Zoom call, we did some collabs and stuff. We were talking for like an hour before the collab. And like, it's the same thing. It's like there's authenticity in his character, which is quite hard to find. So if you're watching this as well, Joel, I fucking love you, mate. But I wanted to make this video. It might come across as like, oh, Charlie's licking Thomas's ass and like Charlie's riding Thomas's dick. But like I said, like I don't care. The people that watch this video and take away the key points will understand like, okay, well I can use this knowledge to build my own channel or to, you know, take that into other parts of my business and hopefully see some level of success. And often like I only had like, you can see on my pad here, I don't have much stuff written down. So I've actually learned a lot making this video because sometimes I use these videos as a method to think and I just talk. Sometimes I even record videos I don't upload, believe it or not. Fucking crazy, right? But that's everything. Now you probably are already subscribed to Thomas, but if you're not, I'll link his channel in the description. The chances are you probably already are subscribed. If you're not, what are you doing? And yeah, I just thought it would be a good video to make. I was like, what's an interesting video I can make? And then I was thinking, I meant to make this one like a long time ago, but I feel like it's an important thing to know. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, you can like it, comment anything down below, and also subscribe If you want more clients, click the first link in the description. No stress. It's a funnel. You can book a call. I don't really mind. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.